everyone. Welcome to the Geek Remix Podcast. My name's Mari.
And I'm Stacy.
And up on news today, we have Pokemon. You can Pokemon player beats Sword and Shield with nothing but a humble Wooloo. That seems doable. I saw the evolution of Wooloo. I assume it was the evolution of Wooloo. It looked like a ram. Totally just bust everyone apart.
But it doesn't say that they...
What?
It doesn't say that they evolved it?
Well, even if they didn't evolve it, Wooloo's stats are pretty hardcore. They're like a tank.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pretty good. So one Wooloo called Aries found that with a 21-year-old college student and Pokemon player who goes by Selvix online, together they beat Pokemon Sword and Shield and became the new Galar champions.
So basically, they posted about this on Reddit, showing the final stats, level 100 with 217 HP, and he basically did, or I'm saying he, but this person who did this, basically did a bunch of stuff to...
I know a friend of the show, Ma Dry Bread, M-A-H, Dry Bread.
MDB.
They blew up on YouTube by defeating all these different Pokemon challenges with, can I defeat it with just a Pikachu? Can I defeat it with just a Magikarp?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, Magikarp, that's hardcore.
Yeah.
Like, never evolving your Magikarp. Because usually how I roll is, as soon as I catch a Magikarp, I evolve that into a Gyarados and feel like I'm the boss here. So that's pretty cool.
And so there is one fight where you have to bring two Pokemon, and so what they did is they brought a Magikarp.
So it doesn't count.
So it does, and just use Splash, which is just like some Magikarp's just like flopping around. But I guess they used a combination of like potions and like other things that like boost defense and special defense.
Yeah, so I've been playing it, and you can do the giant Pokemon battles where you go up to a red thing and you fight giant Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
When you fight them, they'll drop these things like experience boosts and rare candies like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So you can level up a Pokemon that you kind of left behind and you want to give it a try really easily. So if you save those up, you can level up so fast.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing just one Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
overall, they say it took at least 20 hours split into two main sessions of playing the game. And so they basically had to grind battles to do this with just a Wooloo. But they said, I can definitely say I had... You scrolled past the quote.
Oh, sorry.
I had way more fun playing through the game this way than I would have if I'd used a full team of 6, because you can get creative with it, push your boundaries, and most importantly, play the game in a way that's fun to you.
Oh, so I know that I dropped all the sauce on Pokemon last week. I still enjoy it. I understand why people don't like it. I understand the things that people are annoyed about, because there's a lot of things that they added, like camping and stuff. And I was like, yes, that's going to be so great when I'm in the middle of a dungeon and all my Pokemon are dying.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out there's like no dungeons. And there's never really a reason to set up camp other than to look at how cute all your Pokemon are.
I mean, is that not a good reason?
It is a good reason.
You can watch all your children fight.
But it would have felt more impactful if I was in the middle of like this long journey trying to make it through some dusty long dungeon where it's frustrating and I set up camp and I'm able to do these things. But that's okay. I'm still having a really good time. I'm a good time with the characters and stuff.
Do you remember like wandering into the caves in like Gen 1 and you're just kind of like limping along because you didn't bring enough stuff with you? And so like everything is dying and you just keep getting attacked by Zubats?
So when I first played it, I just leveled my Bulbasaur only and nothing else, and I would just keep going and die and keep going and die and keep going and die until I had a Bulbasaur that was just like so unbelievably overpowered that I just went through and it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I beat the Elite Four with an Ivysaur? No. Venusaur? Venusaur, like level 60 something, and then like 7 level 2 Weedles, because I never even switched out the rest of my team because there was no point.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another thing that I thought was like really cool, is that you might have a counterfeit Pokemon in Sword and Shield without knowing it, written by Patricia Hernandez. So, there's this Pokemon. It's basically a teapot, which evolves from a cup. And it's a ghost that is haunting a teacup. But what's interesting is, you could have a counterfeit one. Because the ones that are, quote-unquote, real are the ones with the seal on the bottom. So, essentially what it is this Pokemon will inhabit either a teacup or a teapot. But I'm going to assume that there's all the same type of teapot, and there's also knockoffs, so the ghost can just either inhabit a knockoff one or a real one. It just happens to be whatever ghost that it inhabited. Whatever teapot it inhabited.
Oh.
So the Pokemon itself is real. What it's wearing could be a knockoff.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Am I explaining that well? So at the bottom...
A fake teapot?
Yeah. So the Pokemon might have accidentally or just not know the difference between a real one and a fake one and just thought it's a teapot.
So the Pokemon flew into one of those purses that they sell like on the side of the street where like the Gucci G's are like crooked.
Yeah. That's basically
and it was like, this is right?
Yeah, because it's just a little baby Pokemon.
And it doesn't know.
Yeah.
But who decides which one's authentic? Just like that it's the right teapot?
So you see that little blue mark right there at the bottom?
Yeah.
So you look at its butt. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't have that blue mark on its butt, it's quote-unquote fake.
Oh.
There's also for the teacup one, there's a little blue mark right here. So you can, if you see their butt, you can tell. It's just this tiny little detail that I thought was cool. But at the same time, it feels kind of elitist and unfair to the Pokemon. Because I know someone's going to be like, no, this one doesn't have it. And they're going to throw away innocent little baby Pokemon who didn't know that they inhabited the wrong teacup. And they're going to be like, why? What's wrong with me?
So I
I
guess what would have made me understand this faster is that the Pokemon is not counterfeit. Its clothes are counterfeit.
Yeah, its clothes are counterfeit.
Yeah. Because I was like, is this another, the ghosty one? What's his name? Mimikyu. Is this another Mimikyu situation where it's like just a different Pokemon and he's like, I'm a Pikachu. Yeah.
Please love me.
Yeah.
Oh my god, every time I think of Mimikyu, I get really sad. And
have you seen the Pikachu wearing a Mimikyu hoodie?
Yes. I was so mad. Like, I feel like we've talked about this before on the podcast, but there's this picture of Pikachu wearing a Mimikyu, like, costume for Halloween. And Mimikyu is in the background looking at Pikachu like, really? Like, I finally forged my own fan base and my own identity despite always being overlooked for you, and you take my look and put it on yourself. And I just was like, Pikachu's canceled. Pikachu is canceled. Like,
Pikachu's doing the thing where it's like, oh hey, like this person who's not very well known is like trending for this thing. I'm just gonna steal that,
even though you're already popular and you already have your own fan base. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah,
it's like
when people like steal tweets.
Yeah,
they just copy and paste the tweet in their own account.
Is canceled. It's like worse. It's like deep inside of me. It makes me like a visceral, like I want to slap Pikachu and be like, "How dare you wear that? How dare you stood where Mimikyu stood?" But anyway, I kind of also think we as a people should rise up and say, "No, I like the counterfeit Pokemon more because they're not elitist. I want the non-elitist Pokemon."
I mean, it depends. How much did you pay for the counterfeit? Because
you know what I'm going to assume? I assume all these ghost-type Pokemon just stole them, so that's good.
Okay.
That's good that they did it.
Yeah.
Good for you. You stole them.
Yeah, because, you know, I feel like the counterfeit thing is, you know, you don't want to pay the same amount of money for a counterfeit. That's no
well, you're
good.
just catching them in the wild.
No, I meant the Pokemon.
I
don't care about you. I care about the Pokemon.
Yeah, the
who's
Pokemon.
Been misled.
Yeah, you're right. But I think they just they don't actually have to pay for anything.
That's
because
good.
But here's the real question that I've been asking myself while playing. So, ghost-type Pokemon, they come from ghosts. Okay?
What?
So, ghost-type Pokemon come from dead people or dead Pokemon.
Okay.
which raises the question. In a lot of descriptions, they go, here's a stump that's inhabited by the spirit of a dead child.
Yeah.
Or this teapot is inhabited by the spirit of something. It's a poltergeist. It's haunted. Does that mean that our souls in the Pokemon universe are Pokemon? Like, big question. Because there's a lot of ghost-type Pokemon, and I'm thinking, wait a second, if all these Pokemon are coming from being ghosts, does that mean that people's souls are Pokemon?
I mean, I think the more important question is, why doesn't it always show everyone eating Pokemon? You know they're doing it.
They're not doing it.
You know they're
Everybody
doing
in
it.
Pokemon is vegan because... No, everyone in Pokemon is vegan. I'm looking it up right now. Pokemon Universe vegan? You know what? They might...
They eat Pokemon and other animals.
Like fish and seagull. Okay, the Pokemon eat each other. Do people?
No, people in Pokemon aren't vegetarians. They eat Pokemon and other animals.
Are people in Pokemon... No, this is a forum post. Unofficial.
Go back.
This is a forum post. That's unofficial.
Okay.
Okay, everyone's... Are they vegan?
Nobody knows.
No, the humans, they eat the byproducts. So they're not vegan. They eat the byproducts of the Pokemon. That's what I think. They eat the byproducts of the Pokemon. So let's say Chanseys or whatever are going to throw eggs. You can eat some of Execute's eggs.
Right, but eggs, I mean, that doesn't make you vegetarian. And it doesn't make you vegan.
Okay, it makes you vegetarian.
It makes you vegetarian, but it definitely doesn't make you vegan.
Alright, so they're vegetarians. I think the Pokemon eat each other, but I don't think people eat Pokemon.
That's also very...
What?
Yikes.
What? What's the question?
I don't know. I don't see...
Because all animals are Pokemon in... Like, even bacteria is Pokemon sometimes.
Yeah, so... I don't know how you get away with never eating an animal.
I think the Pokemon eat each other, but I don't think the humans eat the Pokemon. I think they're all vegetarians. Because think about it. If a milk tank can just squirt so much milk that it causes damage, that's enough to feed a lot of people.
Right, but then one would probably assume that there's like a factory farm system for Pokemon who create eggs and milk and other products.
No, because I think what people have done is they've lowered the human population and filled up a lot of the necessities for different human labor with Pokemon. So really, we don't need as much. Humans don't need as much, and every single human has at least a few Pokemon.
You're trying to tell me that there's no messed up people in this universe that have been I wonder what animals taste like.
Like, the worst people is Team Rocket.
There's people that eat other people. Okay?
Not in Pokemon. Not in Pokemon.
I don't know.
All right, we're living in a world where
I think this world is darker than you think.
I think in a world where they say 11-year-olds can leave home.
They make them fight each other, okay? They make the Pokemon fight each other.
Yeah, one of the scariest things about Pokemon is that it's really a rule that if two Pokemon trainers make eye contact, they must fight.
Yeah, they must fight, and then they fight until the Pokemon faint on the battlefield. They trap them in little balls. You're really trying to tell me that none of them get eaten?
I don't think they eat them. I don't think they eat them. I think
so. They just subject them to animal cruelty.
Yes, because in this world we've brainwashed all the Pokemon into thinking this is what they want.
Yeah,
I think it's probable.
Just to be clear, so nobody yells at me, I love Pokemon. She
just wants to make everyone upset. You know what?
Open your eyes. Open your eyes, Wooloos.
It's probable that some people eat them. But I think it's a lot more logistical within the society and structure of the Pokemon universe for them all to be able to have sustainable vegetarianism, since so many of the Pokemon eat edible food.
You really think there's no black market Pokemon network?
I'm sure there is.
Where there's people yo, I'll give you
a Squirtle
$13,000 for a Pikachu carcass.
Well, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is.
It's probably really messed up.
It probably is messed up. But here's the thing. The Pokemon would rise up and tell... You know how, like, every time in the show something messed up is happening? It's always like the Squirtles are being like, have you heard about this weird thing? Let's rise up. All the Squirtles, let's go. And they, like, kill that person.
Yeah. And then they eat the person.
They probably eat them. But
Yeah.
I feel like it's okay for the Pokemon to eat people. I feel like that's more okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember in Pokemon the movie and they had those giant Pokemon? What are they going to do?
They would feed a lot of people.
Those giant plant Pokemon were just minding their own business in Detective Pikachu.
Well, but a lot of plants are Pokemon too, so you can only eat certain plants.
You can eat the plant byproducts. That's what I'm saying. Plant Pokemon that produce fruit, you can just eat their fruit.
Yeah, but like, what about like Oddish? You can't eat an Oddish?
I'm sure like an Oddish can, like, you can just pluck out one of its, like, leaves.
And then it's like, ah!
No, it could probably just, like, shed a leaf. Like Razor Leaf, the move, where do you think those leaves are coming from? I'm sure they can just Razor Leaf some leaves on a plate and you can eat that.
You can't just eat any leaf, Mari.
Okay, well then, you probably can't eat an Oddish because it's poisonous.
You gonna go outside?
Why do you think so many plant Pokemon are poisonous?
Oh, it's a defense mechanism.
Exactly.
But,
exactly.
You know, there are certain dishes that, like, are more appealing because there is an element of potential poison.
Okay, Stacey, we get it. You love killing animals. Like, it's really weird how into this you are. You love murdering. It's okay. It's fine.
Okay.
I don't accept you for it, but maybe someone else will. Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah, this is weird. And
Have you heard about this?
Well, yeah, because I set our channel to not for kids.
Yeah, so this is the COPPA legislation. I think it's called COPPA, right? COPPA. So this is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, COPPA, which forbids collecting data from children under the age of 13 without explicit consent from their parents. To be clear, like, this legislation has existed since, like, the year 2000, but there was recently, YouTube reached a settlement with the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, in September for allegedly violating children's privacy. And basically, because YouTube wants to put the onus on creators about content issues, they're basically the problem is that, like, YouTube is using all these, like, ad targeting tools on any person that is watching videos, but these might include children who are under 13. Mm-hmm. So because that's not technically allowed, and it hasn't been allowed this whole time, but they finally, like, put the court case through. So now what YouTube wants to do is make it so that creators have to mark whether their videos are for children or, like, not for children. However, where this gets really tricky is that it's a very gray area for certain videos, because there's videos that are, like, directed at kids versus attractive to kids, which, like...
Yeah, so this guy here, Pixel Dan, I watch his videos sometimes. He reviews technically toys, but they're actually figures for adults, like He-Man and stuff. So you can understand why he's worried that the automated bot is going to say that his videos are for kids. And he also brought up the fact that when some of his videos were marked for kids, you can't find them.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible to find. So if you have a video that's targeted towards kids and you say it's for kids, it doesn't show up on people's subscriber feeds or anything.
Also, way less ad revenue.
Yeah, way less ad revenue. So I just, to be safe, because clearly we're not for people under 13 years old, I just, every single video, not for kids. And unfortunately, because I'm playing Pokemon, it, like, just the face shapes and everything, it kind of makes it, like, it makes all the related videos kid stuff. Yeah. Even though it's not for kids right now, but I'm sure it'll be okay. Yeah. Because I marked the whole channel as not for kids. I just did was like, whatever it is that's going to make it so they can't automatically delete our lives, I will do that. I don't care what it is. So at least they don't have it so it's like, if it's not for kids, just get out of here, you know?
Yeah, so the where this gets tricky is that if the FTC like looks at your videos and decides that they actually are for kids, you can get fined like $40,000.
Yeah, that's really weird. And also YouTube
and you can't appeal.
And YouTube also, I don't think we're gonna have that problem. But
I don't know how anybody could like seriously watch our videos and be like, these are for children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I don't think it's going to happen. But it's still really scary. And also YouTube put a little clause in there that said, if we deem your channel not profitable, we can delete it.
What?
Which also deletes your email associated with it.
What?
Yeah, they put that in there.
Oh my god.
It's just intentionally vague so they can just delete your channel for any reason they want.
Well, see, this is like one of the big issues with YouTube. It's like, so it's not just like, is the video like designed for kids? It's also like, is it attractive to kids? Mm-hmm. So like, that's like vague as hell, mm-hmm. because there's lots of things that kids like will want to watch that is not necessarily geared towards them.
Like, yeah, I mean, when I was 8 years old, I was on newgrounds.com. Wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But I was still there.
Yeah. Pretty sure I was like, I mean, like, you even, like, start getting curious about, like, not that I'm recommending that, like, little kids go look at porn, but I remember, like, I was, like, going and looking for stuff because I was like, what's this about?
What is this?
What is this? And that definitely was not geared towards me, but I went and found it anyway. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure adults with their kids now, I see they have a lot more control over how the kids have access to the internet now.
Well, because at least when I was a kid, my parents didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Mm-hmm. And because they just didn't, like, think, like, oh, like, she's 12, she's gonna go look at porn. You know what I mean?
God, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Because they're going to. And they kind of,
like, I remember...
What do you just put, like, vanilla-only porn? Like, I don't know what... Like...
I don't know. So, I remember, like, when I was, I can't remember exactly how old I was, but I was a young teen, and I wrote, like, smut. Mm-hmm, like, literally smut. And I drew a bunch of, like, perverted cartoons.
Which is still going on today.
Which is still going on today. But, like, my parents found, like, the things that I had written, and, like, I just lied and said that it wasn't mine. And I think that they just wanted to believe me so bad that even though it was, like, literally impossible for anybody else to have written this, they were like, oh, okay, and they just never talked about it again. And
Didn't you blame it on your friend?
I blamed it on, like, some man on the internet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So, you know, of course they were like, whoa. Oh my god.
They knew it was you, Stacy.
They had to have known.
They knew it was you.
It was... Okay, I wrote it in one of those, like, kids' word processor programs.
Stacy, they knew it was you, and they just let it go.
No, but they never, like, talked to me about it.
Of course.
They confronted me, I lied, and they didn't even, like... You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah.
They didn't talk to me about, like, hey, maybe let's talk about, like, healthy attitudes towards sex.
So I was browsing porn.
Yeah.
Like a normal person. And
That's not true.
I was being very normal.
No. I'm just saying, like, you know, I don't want anybody to feel bad if they don't. That's the only normal.
What's the normal? No.
Looking at porn.
I was making a joke of myself because I definitely wasn't looking up normal things.
Oh, I see.
But I found a feminist porn site. I forgot the name, though. Hold on. I gotta find it really quick. But
I thought you were... I know that you showed stuff. Where did we start talking about this? What happened?
Wait, no, just hold on. It was, like, she was a queen. It was, remember in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend where she had that feminist porn site that she found? It was like that.
I never got to that point.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
You just told me about it. And you were like, hey, did you hear about this thing? And I was like, no. And you were like, okay, I'm going to tell you everything about it before you can watch it yourself.
I just want to do a shout out to the website. Oh, ersties.com. It's for women.
Ersties?
Ersties.com.
Is that how it's said?
I don't know.
Ersties.
It's super cool, and it's led by women. And the one that was like, she's a queen, and she has like a harem of men or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was awesome. But it requires a subscription, which I did not want to do, so I didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That'd be
kids
kinda...
content.
Okay. Yeah. Jeez, we're the worst.
So
Half-Life.
So I saw the announcement, and I was like, and then a bunch of people respond with monkey's paw gifs.
Oh.
Because people have been waiting for Half-Life 3. This is Half-Life, Alex announcement trailer. And everyone's like, a new Half-Life game? Oh my god! Oh, it's for VR, and it's...
A prequel.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's just what we wanted.
That's exactly what we wanted. I mean, it looks super cool, but the HTC Vive to play it costs $1,000.
Oh my god, it's for the HTC Vive?
Yeah.
Oh.
The new one.
Oh.
It's $1,000. Plus the computer.
Is this, is it gonna be, like, room scale, or is it...
It looks like room scale. This is just the trailer. It looks great. I don't know.
You know, like, okay, so I saw someone tweeting about this. Like, I don't remember. I just remember, like, the sentiment was, like, oh, like, people say, like, they won't, like, buy a VR headset until they make games for VR. Then they make a game for VR, and, like, people won't buy it. And it's like, right, but, like, the technology is not at a point yet where a lot of people can do this.
Yeah, you need a high-end gaming PC. That's a lot of money. Then you need to buy a $1,000 VR headset. Because I think this will probably work with the older HTC Vive, but still.
Yeah.
This is a lot.
It's coming in March 2020.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I was wrong.
Wait. It's
Windows, MR, Oculus, Vive, and Valve Index. I don't know what that means.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know what that means. But, you know, it looks really cool.
I mean, how much is, like, the Oculus and whatnot?
I think it's a lot less. So,
I
think it's a smart business move to put a big name thing on VR in order to invigorate the market.
Oculus is $400.
Hey, that's way better.
Or, like, you know, like 400, 500 or something.
That's pretty cool.
I guess there's also, like, you can do, like, a standalone, just the headset, but I think you'll probably need those controls. And then the HTC Vive Pro, $1,400.
Okay.
Actually, like, yeah, or like 1,600. So that's cool.
I got the first gen HTC Vive, and then I was like, okay, I don't have any more room for it, so I guess I'll sell it because I don't have enough room.
Yeah.
I loved it, though. I loved having it. It's just that I don't have enough room anymore. That kind of stinks. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay, so, boom. This is what?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Good Omens. Like, you can disregard the headline because the important part is this little tweet. It's really cute. Somebody did it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, somebody recorded an anime-style opening for the Good Omens TV show. It's very short, but it's very cute. And if you were a fan of Good Omens,
dude, that is so on point with the anime,
right? Yeah.
With they're upside down with each
I
other.
know, right? It's like it's
someone should do the outro where it's just them chilling, like it's at night and they're just walking alone at night on a road.
Like, this is just like so cute to me, and also I love that show so much.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So usually anime intros are crazy, and then the outro is just chilling. I always like that.
Yeah.
So here's some Google Stadia shade. I understand the needs and wants of it. Google is blatantly lying about the quality of Stadia's games, and that's not okay. So they're saying, so you know how you have to pay extra for the 4K?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? It's not 4K, and some of it isn't even, like, partially 4K.
Isn't even close.
So Destiny 2 renders at 1080p. Okay. And then they upscale it to 4K. And Red Dead Redemption 2 renders at 1440p and upscales to 4K. Um, so that's not amazing. Is there anything else?
So another one of the, like, I've heard, I've seen also, like, so we're obviously coming at it from like a consumer perspective, right?
Google's Phil Harris explicitly said all games will be running at 4K 60 FPS, but Destiny 2 and Red Dead Redemption 2 simply don't. And there was a tweet that confirmed that Red Dead 2 would be at 4K, but the tweet is gone now. But what were you going to say? Sorry, I just
So
wanted to get
I
that
was
out
going to
there.
say that, like, just from like from a like game development perspective, this is also, I feel like I've seen a lot of like people who, even if you're not talking about the like trouble with like the actual streaming and like logistics of it, just like the fact that it's like you wouldn't own anything but you're still paying full price for things, because if you think about it, the reason that like music streaming took off is because it's
cheaper.
It's significantly cheaper for most people to like pay like $10 a month or whatever it is to stream anything that you want, rather than like spending like $15 on every album that you want. And obviously like music streaming hasn't been great for music artists, but like if you take gaming to that, it just makes me really wonder like how, I don't know.
I think it's interesting.
And then what, like this collapses like Google Plus and then like nobody owns their stuff?
Yeah,
you know?
They bought games that they can never play ever again.
Like you bought it, and it's like another thing with the music, like the music streaming comparison is that like, say like if you have a Spotify subscription, you're listening to Spotify and like Spotify just poof disappears. Well, it's different because you didn't pay $15 or $20 for every single album on Spotify for the pleasure of streaming them. You know what I mean? Whereas like with something like
it's
this,
like Netflix. You lose Netflix, okay, but you didn't own Netflix.
Yeah.
You didn't pay specifically $5 to rent one movie forever. So.
Yeah.
But, okay, so the powerful hardware running the service and how it can handle 4K at 60 FPS. The selling point is that, okay, you don't have to buy a machine to do 4K. You got this. Just kidding, it can't. Okay. Well, bye. The Stadia, but if Google thinks okay. So, and then also there is a day later, many Google Stadia founders still don't have their launch codes. So that means that people who pre-ordered it and paid $150 still can't use the service
and can't reserve their usernames.
So they get an email saying you're going to get it soon, and then they don't get the code check.
Cool.
Have been sent, whether blah, blah, blah. We can confirm that if you pre-ordered Founders Edition in June and your form of payment has now been charged, your Stadia Access code has been sent to you via email. We're now moving in sequence to the orders placed on or after July 1st. We'll post further updates here on our social channels. How about you just, like, send it? Not...
I don't know.
But as of this morning, a day after launch, we still found loads of reports on Twitter like the below. They need the code to use the thing that they bought and pre-ordered.
Oh my god.
What? And they also promised that it would work on Chromecast, and it doesn't. This is Chromecast Ultra. Was in the middle. Okay, so this is by user ArmaDion7479 on Reddit. On the Stadia Reddit, it says, I was in the middle of a fight in Destiny 2 when suddenly my Chromecast died and lost connectivity to the network. I went to unplug it from the power and it was extremely hot. Has anyone else experienced overheating with the new Chromecast Ultras that come with the Founders Edition? I hadn't seen other posts about that. So everyone...
And then there's a bunch of people talking about it.
So this is the hardware that it ships with as the official hardware.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
And people are, like, a bunch of people on Reddit are talking about how it's overheating and just shutting off.
Okay, so someone here is being like, it's not a big deal. Like, okay.
Well, they said, like, oh, like, mine that I've had always gets way too hot when I'm streaming something. especially when streaming 4K or prolonged use. It's shut off a couple times. I just unplug it, let it rest, and then use it again. And I don't know how I would feel if, in order for me to like stream on my like TV, I had to just like
turn it off, and
like wait a half hour and then start watching again.
I would be pissed.
Can you imagine like for gaming, like if you're playing with a bunch of friends, like, oh sorry guys, I
have to let my
console calm down, like
that I just bought for $150 plus a subscription.
Yeah. LOL, give this thing designed to do this one task a rest because the people who made it did a bad job and you can't use your product.
Yeah, exactly. I just,
yeah.
You know, just what? Oh, God, look, everybody's so upset. These are people who just stand Stadia, too. Stadia?
Stadia, Studio.
Question time.
Oh, yeah.
I just punched myself.
You punched yourself? Okay. Maya reserves the right to not answer questions. I did not okay these questions with her beforehand, so.
Sometimes I just don't feel like answering a certain question.
And that is okay.
And that's okay and normal.
Okay, so when creating a character, Nerdgasm85 says, when creating a character in a game, do you model it after yourself or unique each time?
I have the general idea. It's impossible to model it after myself because I'm perfect. So you can't like get to that level, but I like to just go, okay, this is kind of like the same race as me, unless I'm playing for stream or for the YouTube. Then I try to do like a more general thing that covers more people, you know. Yeah, so usually I just try and get the nose. At best I usually just go, I've managed to make them mixed race looking, then that's enough. I do it. What do you do?
I think that, okay, so, like, when I've created characters, like, entirely on my own, I usually try to make them look like how...
Sexy?
No, like how I imagine my, like, most badass self.
Yeah.
You know? Like, when the last time I created a character in Dragon Age Inquisition, I literally created a Kunari that, like, when I took a step back, I was like, whoa, that looks like me, but if I was a Kunari. And I think that when we create characters for Let's Plays, I think we actually try to be more like we do different skin tones.
Yeah,
you know?
just
because if we created a character for Let's Plays every single time that looked like one of us,
the same character.
It's the same character every single time, and like you know that people would like to see.
Yeah, people want to see different stuff.
Yeah, so and like
I also like to make them hot.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, you know, like sometimes...
But not, like, stereotypically hot. I want them to be, like, uniquely hot.
Yeah, well, it's like, that's kind of like what I was saying, like, my most badass version of myself. I'm like, me, but if I had, like, a gigantic scar down my eye. You know what I mean? And giant horns on my head and, like, tons of tattoos. So, like, I
like it whenever we make characters and we like every single makeup option. We're like, yeah, do it.
Yeah,
do it.
I want that. I want white eyes.
People are, your character's a mess, and I'm like, shut up.
Yeah,
she looks amazing.
Do you remember? I remember Mass Effect Andromeda seeing a bunch of comments after the character creation. People were like, "Whoa,"
and I was like, "You're wrong." You're wrong.
You're wrong. Because, like...
We had the big square of eyeshadow on her face.
Listen, that was cool.
It was cool, and they were wrong.
And she had, like, purple hair, and, like...
Let's be real. Before they updated all the makeup, she looked better than everyone on the ship. Remember how bad everything looked before they did, like, this hot fit? Who just... Like, they turned on the lights, and this woman was wearing, like, bright blue eyeshadow and orange lips. Yes. And I was like, what?
Oh, and the blush was, like, horrendous.
And I was like, yeah, the lights definitely have been off here, huh?
Yeah. I think, like, what annoys me about that, though, is that, like, when people make comments like that, it always seems a little bit like they're reacting to other things, too. You know
like what?
Like, not just, like, hair color or makeup. I'm like, you wouldn't say this if this character was, like, I don't know, like, choosing some of the more conventional, like, facial feature options. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you give your character, like, a big nose. Or, like, you...
Oh my god, for
others...
Dragon Age, we're like, okay, we'll just make our main character black, so I just made her black. And someone was like, why did you make her so dark? And I was like, 'cause she's black. Like, what?
It's what I'm saying. Like, people will say, you know, like, oh, like, this is so, like, weird. Like, and I'm like, they're literally just a different color skin in you. Like, fuck off. People, you know that, like, millions of people exist that, what?
I'm not even trying to be like, it's us, we're standing up for minorities. It literally, we were just like, okay, well, last time we did someone who looks like this, and since we're making videos for, you know, a bunch of people, we should do, like, different characters so different people feel involved.
Yeah.
And I just, like, every time we're like, okay, so, this color, and everyone's like, I couldn't believe so many people for a Dragon Age Inquisition. I banned all of them, by the way. Who needs them?
Well, because also, here's the thing.
They're like, why did you make her so black? And I was like, because she's black. I don't understand what you want.
Well, and here's, like, the crazy thing about it, too, is that, like...
Nobody asks, why did you make her so white?
I know, and, like, for the purposes of the Dragon Age Inquisition story, it's a cosmetic choice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It
doesn't make any changes to the story. So, like, you're not gonna see anything different if your character looks different. So, like, fuck off. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
We just did it so that, like, people could see different options in the game and maybe see themselves reflected after all of these other Let's Plays just look, you know...
the same?
Oh, it's like, oh, you mean it's a white human male? Which is fine if you want to play that, but,
yeah,
you know,
that's valid.
It's valid, you know?
We were just, whenever... Yeah, for Let's Plays on the channel... Not that this is, like, a big sacrifice or saying any of that, and we're just, like, martyrs to the people.
No.
It's just that, like, people are stupid. Like, just dumb.
Not you.
Not you, people
Not
who are
you.
fans, like, you get it. But if you type in something dumb, you're banned. So, therefore, you're part of the
If you say something dumb, you're stupid.
You're stupid.
Okay. Let's see, we actually, has living together presented any new challenges for you guys?
I feel like it's been fine.
Yeah, I think so,
We've
too.
lived together before.
Yeah.
It's better than when I lived with that man. Which is low standards.
And I think also, like, because the two of us are, like, in a relatively good place just, like, mentally, too, that it's, like, whenever there's been it's like, oh, hey, could you, like, pick that up? And then the person does it, and then it's like, it's over.
Yeah, because...
You know what I mean?
You know what? I think... Okay, so this is just my personal experience with my own dynamics. But my standards have been put down so low.
That I can meet them.
No, not you.
I'm just kidding.
But just, like, my standards of just... Hey, can you do this? Yeah. And I'm like... Instead of just being like, hey, can you pick up your, like, butthole juice off the floor? And they're like, why? Why do I have to pick up the butthole juice? And I'm like, because it came out of your butthole? Like,
yeah.
You know, I'm just, like, saying just, like, something equivalent to that. It's just, for some reason, I think, or maybe it was just my personal experience, when you're in a relationship, everyone thinks it's, like, some sort of dynamic, when really... I think it's best if you, when you're living with your significant other, you should still think of it as roommate rules.
As like a partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like...
This is your job and this is my job.
Yeah, and I think that where that can also get tough is, like, at least in my experience, when... people, like, either person is maybe not being, like, maybe not on purpose, but they're not being entirely, like, forthcoming about, like, here's what I need, you know? And so, like, there's been times when, like, I've been living with somebody and I, you know, things would bother me and I just wouldn't bring it up. I would just fix it, you know? I would just fix it in the background. And then I'm getting angry and resentful because I'm just, like, fixing these little things constantly, you know, instead of just saying to the person, like, and I know that about myself now, so, like, now I just say, like, hey, can you please do this? Or you also can learn to just, like, kind of, like, let things go, you know?
Yeah, my problem is I would say, hey, can you please do literally just anything at all to help? And they would say, no, I don't want to because I go to work, but you stay here. Even though you pay more of the rent, Mari, I pay more of the rent. I paid more of the rent, and I did all of the chores, and I did everything, and they're like, I don't want to because reasons. And I'm just like,
you know what I think is another thing that helps, too, is that, like, because, like, we each cook for ourselves.
Yeah.
It's not, like, I don't know, when I've been in, I feel like a lot of times when I end up in, like, relationships with men, like, you know, like, cis, straight men, they assume that I am just going to, like, do that.
And you know what sucks is I love cooking.
I love cooking, too.
And then I want to be appreciated for the fact that I did it and not it be an expectation.
And you know what? It's not even that I don't mind the cooking itself. I just want someone to be like, wow, babe, thank you so much. Like, you're great for doing this.
Instead of it being an expectation. And
if
you don't do it, you have failed.
Yeah.
Instead of it being, it should be, they made dinner bonus. Not they made dinner.
As they should.
As they should. That's the bare minimum they should be doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I know.
No.
Yeah. This is great because we actually touched on another topic that people brought up, and they said, do you have any more significant other roommate stories? I really enjoyed that part of Death Stranding.
Oh my god. But he just loved me just screaming.
I don't know if people just, like, they feel validated when we talk about this stuff.
Oh my god. Let me think. Like, it has to come to me in waves. But, yeah. Oh,
I mean, really quick, though, to, like, build off of this point, there was a point in one of my relationships where I was working full-time, in school full-time, and doing the channel, and still expected to cook and clean and, like, all this stuff.
That was so crazy.
That was, like, I just remember the other person being, like, passive-aggressive a couple times because I would come home and I would be like, I was like, I can't, like, we're just having a pizza. You know what I mean? I just, like, I can't do it. And I remember them being like, you know, like home-cooked meals are, like, a lot healthier than all this frozen food we've been eating. And I was like...
Then you cook, bitch.
And I know. And I was like, you know that, like, I can't come home and, like, just cook dinner from, like, 7 to 8 and then do schoolwork from 9 to 11. Like, the fuck? I can't do that. Like, that is too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, guess what? They know they're stupid now. So.
It was just...
Oh. So that person I was with for, like, 8 years, here is a storyline that I have put together over the years where I go, oh my god.
Yeah.
Because it just, like, hit me out of nowhere when I was like, what? You're cheating? What? Get out! Like, I just told them to leave and I didn't want to know anymore.
Yeah.
There was, like, a time, like, a few months before that where, like, I gave him a kiss and I was like, why is kissing you, like, taste like pussy?
No!
Yeah! And then I just thought to myself, I'm being crazy. Like, why would that be?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, no way. And then another time, my neighbor was like, yeah, we saw him, like, down the street, like, kind of implying that he was, like, off in another woman's house. And I was like, whatever, like, who cares?
Wow.
And I just told him, and I was like, isn't that, like, a funny story? Because I genuinely was like,
Wow, that's so weird.
That's so weird. Like, why would they say that?
Yeah.
Thinking that they were just, like, not minding their own business.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I didn't. Like, here, you can look at the cameras off of my car and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't need to see that. Like, I don't care. Because they always acted like they were so much better than me in every way. And made me feel like I was such a piece of shit. So I was like, there's no way he would, like, ever make himself look bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And so...
Oh, wait, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
That sounds very familiar.
Like, oh, you're such garbage, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, they would never cheat on me because then they would lose...
The high ground.
The high ground forever.
Yeah. And then they do.
And then they do.
Yeah.
So, but then, like, I was watching it, and I was like, oh, it stops in the middle and starts again. He's like, oh, it just, like, the camera just restarts every 5 minutes. I was like, okay, I don't care. Like,
is this for real?
Is this for real? Like, I'm so blind.
You're telling me a real story
I can't believe I actually trusted another person. But, remember I told you? I was like, he used to tell me, like, yeah, I'm so broke because they, like, stipend my paychecks or whatever. Like, they automatically take it out. There's no, and I was like, oh, it's for his, he told me it was for, like, credit card debt or something, or, like, student loans or whatever, and I just believed him.
Oh, my God.
I just believed him. But there's only 2 things that they do that for, and that's taxes and child support.
Yeah.
That's it. And when we were renting the house together, he had to give them his credit report, and I was like, can you just file your credit report? Can you just do that? And he's like, didn't want to give it to them. And he was like, can I just, like, give them $10,000 and, like, that can... And I'm like, no, like, you have to do this.
The fuck?
I never saw it. Like, I think she was the person who owned the property, only ever saw it. But, like,
so you
one
still
time...
don't know, like, what the actual deal was on
I don't know, but I think maybe my dad saw it, and he was trying to hint at me that he knew that. Because he was like, that's really weird that he would say that. The only thing that's for is for child support. And I was like, he doesn't have a kid.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I remember when you told me
That's
that,
like
and that's what I said, remember?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they do that for child support. Like,
yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's, you know what that is? That's whack. That's whack.
And that's years before we broke up. Years. So I don't know what's up with that. I think, well, maybe they just didn't pay their taxes. But if they didn't, why wouldn't they just pay it off?
I just, like, want to give a shout out to the person who asked this question and got us on this topic because, like, we've been talking about this now for, like...
So
they were like, spill. Please.
So if you're out there and you are feeling like a fool, it's okay. And it's okay to trust again. I absolutely refuse to let this make me become a person who is always, like, stalking and being obsessive.
Yeah.
Because I know people who are like that, and that's the type of person I don't want to be.
You mean like someone who's been cheated on, and so then it makes them very paranoid?
Yeah. Or people who've never been cheated on, and they just are really, really like that for no reason.
Yeah.
But so just, I am just like, I know people like that, and I know the type of person that makes you, and I'm just like, I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be stupid, but I'm not going to be snooping in phones.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be, like, checking in on all their accounts and stuff. I don't want to do it. It's too much emotional energy for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I feel like something is not right, I'm just going to talk about it. So, yeah. But, so don't feel dumb, okay? Don't feel dumb if this happened to you. Because the whole point of it is that this person, whoever did it to you, set up an entire thing so you would never find out.
Yeah.
It's not bad to have someone... You're supposed to trust the person you're with, and it's not dumb to have been tricked. Like, it's not dumb.
Yeah, I agree. That doesn't make you... Like, in my personal opinion, like, it doesn't make you, like, gullible or naive, because, like, some part of naivete is also, like a part of that root is like positivity and like trust and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and being a person who,
and it's naive if you like, because a lot of people will use naive as like a stand-in for like being overly optimistic or having faith in people. Like, you know what I mean? You always see people saying like, oh, like how could she have been so naive? And it's like, oh, because she put basic trust in the person that she was in a relationship with, like, and somebody couldn't do the bare minimum of trustworthiness. Like, that doesn't make you naive. That makes you like a trusting person, and somebody took advantage of you. So
took advantage of me financially, emotionally, and a bunch of other stuff. He would be like, I want to go on vacation to here. And I'd be like, okay. And I would make all of the plans. And I would pay for most of it. And he would still complain the whole time and say I was ruining the trip because wanting to abide by the plans that I organized in order to do the things that he said he wanted to do.
And, like, paid for, probably.
And paid for.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're ruining the trip by making us do all this stuff. And I'm like,
you didn't fucking plan shit. Like,
we went to border crossing, and you're supposed to show them all of your plans. Because into Canada. And he was just like, oh, we're just going to wing it. Because he was so against the fact that I had organized everything. Even though he asked me to. And asked me to get all these things done. And he was like, we're just going to wing it. Which puts a red flag on. I'm like, that's not true. I have the planner here. And I was just like, so ridiculous. Anyway.
I feel like what's really nuts about that is that it's not like, it's like your parents asking what your plans are. It's like,
yeah,
it's a government official.
It's
a border guard being like, what's your itinerary? I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever. Like, it's whatever. I'm like,
yeah, we're just gonna.
You're talking to border control. Like, do you think about what you say?
Because what that sounds like is, it sounds like, you know, like, I don't know, I don't want to tell you because we're gonna go, like, I don't know, something bad. Be weird, buy a bunch of drugs and smuggle them across the border.
Yeah, but our plans are actually to be smugglers. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
Great. Thanks, honey.
Yeah, idiot.
I think that's pretty much it.
Thanks. That's the tea.
Yeah,
that's the embarrassing tea.
Thank you to the person who asked that question. You know that we always have plenty to say on that.
Secret baby. Goodbye.